Hello there survivors, welcome back to another build tutorial in ARK Survival Ascended, and this is a perfect little beach starter house for when you're starting out on the beaches, maybe of the center or the island or any other upcoming map that you want to have a little beach base. And this is perfect if you're just starting out because it's fairly easy to do, and of course it's also a relatively safe base to make because you're just out on the water, especially of course if it's in shallow water, because let's be honest, if it's in deep waters, you might run into more trouble than on land. Now this design includes the little walkway out in front, but of course feel free to leave that out and design your own one depending on your location or your needs. And I've got two little different hut designs that you can combine, but you can also of course add extra of them if you have a bigger tribe and you all want to have your own separate little huts. The good thing about this system is you can easily combine more of them together to make a little starting village out on the beach. For the material list that is down in the comments below, I've included all of the structures that I've used except for the pillars that are below the water level, because obviously that will depend very much on the landscape and the location on where you're actually building this starter base. So you might have to use a little bit more of the pillars, and of course if you're changing the walkways or adding more walkways, you'll have some extra structures as well. With that being said, let's get into the build tutorial. If you want to show your support, you can of course like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and if you want to show even more support, consider becoming a YouTube member. Let's get to building. To get started, we'll start right here at the coastline. You want to basically place down a pillar somewhere sticking out a little bit above the ground. Then we can add a ceiling to that as a little platform, and we'll actually make sure that we have supports for this platform on all sides, and we can have a stairs leading up to it. So this is the start of the walkway leading to your base. So then we want to take out our triangle ceilings and we start going at a diagonal here. We'll go as far as we can basically place them down before we add in some extra supports for our walkway. And then we'll continue on some more. Again, we'll do that until you can't place any more. We'll have some more supports at the bottom, of course, so that we can actually continue. So we'll continue a little bit more like so. And you want to make sure that the length of this is 8 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that is where we're going to add in a normal ceiling. Now, just to make this all a little bit easier, we actually want to add the supports to this ceiling as well, so that we can continue this by 3 in total, like so. And then, of course, we'll add in more supports to the bottom of this as well. Of course, depending on your terrain, sometimes you might have to go a little bit deeper, so they're actually properly connected up to the bottom of the sea, so we actually have the foundation support. And then this is where we want to add in 2 stairs leading up to the first platform, and that's going to be the start of the base. So we're going to place down a quarter ceiling here. Then we can actually start our normal ceiling, because this is where the normal base will begin. We'll add in a support right here for our main building, all the way until it reaches the ground. And then we can actually connect this and make this 3 wide. Now, personally, what I like to do is I like to pick this one up again, just so that we can actually align them against these ceilings, because I think that looks a little bit nicer. These textures going all the same way, and that's going to be our little front porch here. And then we'll extend this platform to be a 3 by 3. You'll probably run into some supports issues here, so what you want to do, of course, is adding in these pillars on all the corners of the normal ceilings. So we'll add in right here as well, and again make sure you check it actually goes all the way down. You can add the final ceiling and add the supports in again all the way to the bottom of the ocean. Then we can go around and adding in these little side bits, basically the balconies for our little base, to give us a little bit more room to enjoy and work with. There we go. So in the end, you end up with a platform that looks like this. And then what we want to do is we go around with these thin wooden pillars and we place one every corner of the normal ceilings to outline the shape of the house. We'll start with the doorways for the building. We want to add one door here, and I like to flip the inside of the wall to the outside. So at the back we want to have the door in the middle. We want to have another door here in the middle on this side. Then we'll add one in the corner right here. And another one in the corner right there as well. We'll bring out all windows. We'll have a window right there. Window right there in the corner. 2 windows next to the door here. And 2 more windows here as well. And then we'll fill in the remaining walls with just a normal plain wall. So we get a little box going on like this. Now, if you want, you can actually add a couple of places where you can go up by a ladder. I like to use the rope ladders because I just like the look of that the most. You can decide for yourself if you want to go all the way into the water. If you want to be able to reach it, that might be easier. But maybe you can just jump up and get them. Just decide whatever you want. I like to add at least those 2 right here, just so that you can actually get up in those places if you wanted to. Then we can grab the railings and start adding them in, except of course where you just added the ladders to go up to your base. And we'll just make these little balconies a little bit safer around. Here you actually want to leave this one open. We're going to add something more to that in a bit. And then we'll actually also have some railings along the stairs. You can decide if you want them here, but I kind of like this tropical vibe where there's no railings along this walkway. Of course, totally up to you whether you add them or not. Of course, then it's the point where you start adding in some of the doors. I like to use the thatch door to go for that more tropical feel. Of course, you want to add in all the normal doors. And then for the windows, I prefer them to flip open to the top of the wall. I just think that looks a little bit nicer. And again, I'm using the thatch ones just because the tropical vibe is a little bit nicer that way. So that's a pretty good start for our building here, but then we actually want to make sure that we extend it a little bit more. And we do this by starting to place down the quarter ceilings like so along the side of the walls. And basically we'll go all the way around with this shape, adding a little lip around the building that we'll use to start the first layer of the roof. And I like to make sure that I actually line all these ceilings up so that the textures stay the same way. Then it's time to take out our roofs. We want to add in 2 of them here in the middle on all of the different sides to basically start filling in our first layer of the roof. And then we want to add in corners like this as well. I would prefer to be able to do this with thatch, but unfortunately there's no variance for the roof, the corners and stuff for thatch. So we have to make it out of wood because, I mean, that's the second best option. Hopefully they'll add thatch in someday. That would be really, really nice. So that's the start of our little building right here. Then what you want to do is actually add in 2 of these sides of quarter ceilings like so. We can add in a little hatch frame here in the middle so you can actually reach this layer. And then a normal ceiling again. And this is just so that you can actually get here and you can have like a little bedroom or something up here if you want to, which is a quite nice addition. Of course, it means that you have an extra little room that you might be able to use. Now we can actually use the thatch roof. You want to make sure that you get this snap point on the quarter ceiling so it's sticking out a little bit further than the edge, and then you can connect 2 more to it so you can actually make a little roof up here. We'll take out a slope wall as well, and we want to try to get the right snap point on one of these. And then you can of course just add in the other one as well, like so. And we'll add them in on the other side as well. And if you do have the DLC with the frontier skins, you can actually use the glass structures to get a little window here, just because it will actually allow you to actually have a window on these sloped walls. And that just means that you can actually have some natural light coming into your little bedroom. At least I use this as a little bedroom. And that is our little beach house all done. But if you want a little bit more room, you can of course add some things to it. It's also easy to extend this with multiple of these beach houses, of course, if you have a bigger tribe. And what you could even do is adding a little platform here below to store some of your tames or get some extra storage going. There's a lot of opportunities here. But for now, we're going to make the second little addition that I had in the example as well. So we'll take out some stairs and have them go down from this little spot that we kept open before. And just to make our lives a little bit easier, we actually want to make sure that we add in some extra supports here that will help with the little walkway we're about to make. So we'll add one on that corner, and just to balance it out, we'll have one on the other corner as well. Then we want to take out a wooden ramp and place it right next to that. Turn it into a ceiling afterwards, so we get a nice little slope going. And then we want to basically repeat the same thing on the other side. So we want to have a ramp going up, and obviously after that we want to have a stairs, but we can't. So what we do just for right now is we can add in a temporary support here. So we basically have a little pillar going all the way down so that we have some foundation support, so we can place this one down, and then we can actually make proper supports here. Again, all the way down to the bottom. And we'll do the same thing here on the other side as well, just to make the look complete. And if you've done this, you can actually remove the temporary one, because we no longer need it. And then it should all stay up like this, and we've got a nice little hanging bridge going on here. Of course, as some extra details, we can add in the railings alongside all of these structures to also make it properly connect from one side to the other. And of course, doing the same thing here on this side. And then we're going to start a little circular hut here. So we're going to start out with a normal ceiling. Then we're actually going to connect some triangle ceilings next to it, and one here in the middle. And this one we can actually turn into a little circle like this. That's going to be the shape that we're going to build out. And of course, we want to add in our normal ceilings on all of these corners. The last one you won't be able to place just yet. We'll need to add in a couple of more supports. So for every normal ceiling that we've placed, we want to go to the corners and place some pillars going down as supports. So we'll just go around and add in these pillars. And of course, once you've placed down enough, you can actually add in the last ceiling as well. And then just continue adding in all the pillars to every single one of these. So in the end, you should end up with a platform that is completely supported by these stilts. And then of course, we want to make sure that we actually fill in the remaining triangle ceilings as well to complete our little platform. Then you might want to go around with some railings just to finish this platform design. And actually what you want to do is leave this one open for now. So we'll add in 2 railings here. And once again, as we did for the other house, you could decide, for example, right here, I actually want to have a ladder as well so that I could get in and out of the water more easily and reach this place. That's of course totally up to you. We also want to extend the pillars to be one higher so they actually stick out onto the platform as well. Just because that helps with the next stage, because we're actually going to of course do a little bit more with this platform than just build a circle. Although you could just add a platform circle like this if you want to have a place to park some flyers, for example. As I said, it's very easy to extend this little beach base if you want to. Then it's time to start placing in the roof here. You might want to start out with a wall, just a temporary one, so you can easily snap the roof to it, then remove the wall again. And then we're going to go all the way around. So we're going to have these triangles next to it. Then of course it's going to go into a normal roof piece again. And this is how we're going to go all the way around until we make a full circle out of this roof. There we go. Again, unfortunately, this isn't possible out of thatch because the blocks don't exist for thatch, unfortunately. And then the last bit here on top, we just want to use the triangle pieces to finish this little pointy shape on the top. There we go. And then, of course, we want to add a little bit of details to this. So we'll start out by having these railings stick out from the normal roof pieces, because unfortunately you can't get that on the triangle ones. So we'll go all the way around, make sure they're sticking out like this, just to add a little bit of detail, and almost like sticks are actually sticking out. And then what we want to do is add another layer of these railings on top, just sticking up with the little legs. Again, kind of to create the illusion of sticks being used and making it look a little bit more tropical. There we go. So we have another little platform going on, which just gives you a little bit more room in your base as well. Then we want to connect this up with a walkway to the front entrance of your base. So what we're going to do is we're going to have stairs going down like this, 2 of them. So you reach the same level as your walkway did before. You want to, of course, add in supports for your walkway. So we'll have some pillars going from these stairs, making sure they're all the way connected to the bottom. We'll take out a normal ceiling and place 3 of them down like this. And then, of course, we'll have to add in some extra supports again. Then we'll take out the triangles and place 3 of them down like so. Switch to the quarter ceilings and place 2 of them in between in the gap. And that should perfectly align your walkways as well. And that gives you this little cozy little beach base that is a perfect little starter house for, well, the island, but also, of course, the center that should have been released by now. I'm recording this in advance, obviously, but yeah, it's a little nice base that you can build early on when you're living out on the beach. And the best thing, of course, is that you can easily add more and more to this base if you want to. And we're almost done with the walkway, but of course, for the stairs part, I would at least add some railings, just because it feels a little bit safer to have them there. And for the rest of the walkway, again, it's totally up to you. You might run into a little bit of an issue here, obviously, if you want to have railings. I actually almost forgot a step, so I'll add this in somewhere in the middle, but you can actually add some extra supports if you have the Frontier pack, because you can add in some of these triangle scaffolding as like support pieces for the build, just to make it look a little bit nicer and like it's actually being supported. If you do not have the Frontier pack, unfortunately, this won't be possible unless you have a friend that has it, of course. And then also for this build, we want to add some from the pillars going into the build, because it just helps with making the whole build look a little bit better supported than it is. And it makes it a little bit more realistic, I suppose. Now that we've built the whole base, let's look around a little bit, because this one is actually completely decorated. You can, of course, add in a couple of these standing torches, because I feel like it fits the vibe, and especially at night, that will make it look really, really nice. So you can place them in a couple of different spots around the base, just to bring it all to life. And especially at night, of course, this will be very, very helpful. You have all these little balconies that are really useful as well. The interior, I've got some storage right here. This is mostly to look good, let's be honest. Not the most practical design, but it just looks nice. Of course, we got a little ladder going up. This actually leads into the little room here upstairs, which I use as a little bedroom, as I've said before. Because there is not much room there anyway. Got some storage here, crafting table here, a little torch again here as well. More torches there as well. We got a little fridge going on. This is from the hair mod that I am using. But yeah, of course, you can also do some different things. You have a little bit of space here. You should be able to get going. And then you got a bunch of these balconies, of course, they can use as well. Here I established a little water connection, so you have something to drink at all times. Some forges out here on the back porch, and then this one, of course, also actually has an extra forge and leads up to the next layer. So we have a little hanging bridge going on to the next circle, and this I just decorated with a nice saloon table, some of these swiveling chairs, but of course you can also just use a normal table and normal chairs. Got a mortar and pestle here, some extra storage with these barrels that I feel like also fit the vibe, some drinks on the table, a cooking pot, and just an overall good time. And as well as a bunch of these standing torches, of course, to really finish off the like beach hut vibe, the tiki vibe. Kind of like the way it goes. And of course, got a bunch of these little ladders everywhere to connect up, and then you're back right where we started with this walkway. What you can also notice probably is that I've got a bunch of extra ladders hanging down everywhere, and they aren't even practical because some of them are right underneath the base. They don't really serve any purpose except for decoration. They're supposed to kind of resemble like fishing nets hanging down from the little huts, from the little platforms. I just think it adds a little bit of extra details that you aren't really able to do in any other way. So I really like them, but of course, totally optional whether you want to add them or not. And with that being said, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I think it's a pretty cool starter base to start using, and it's very easy, of course, because you can build this right on the beach where you usually end up spawning anyway. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.